right now.
Oh man, they can hear us talking, Dave.
Yeah.
That if people were on prior to the show, like if we had prompt people watching Java with Josh today, they saw that beautiful turkey dinner.
Yes, they sure did.
Oh, it's so exciting,
Isn't it?
So this is Java with Josh. Welcome to the November edition of 2024.
Gobble gobble.
I know for you,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is your favorite holiday. It is also mine. I always say it has got all the family and togetherness of Christmas without the pressure of presents, but also it's the best meal of the year. I mean, hands down.
Best meal of the year. You got football on in the background. It's usually nice enough to go outside and hang out for a little bit. And yeah, man, it's good.
And there's something about being thankful. Like you feel better when you actually are thankful, and for sometimes it's the best part of the year to do that. So.
And I'm usually top 3 on your list for being thankful for me.
Oh, you're just permanently engraved at the top of my list.
Top 3.
Yeah.
Always. Have I ever like creeped up to 2 or 1 above your family or?
No. Never.
All right.
Actually.
Well,
Ever.
We'll see what we can do about that.
Last night we had, actually I'll tell the story in a few minutes, but we had a presentation and you were there helping get this going, and I was giving some welcomes and some intros to our clients, and I wanted to talk about Mike, who's new in our office, and Brian, and all of a sudden you waltz in, and you just like to be there. It's kind of like as we do this Java with Josh, people have a love-hate affinity with Dave.
Which you keep saying that. I think the ratio of love to hate has gone significantly down because I got a lot of.
That's a good thing, right?
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
The love bar is up. Like I'm talking to a couple tax nerds here. Love bar is up. Hate bar is down. I got a lot of smiles when I was greeting people walking in the door last night, and I got a lot of compliments on my weight loss journey. So I love you all. So thank you.
You do look good. You've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
There's a reason we keep you seated during this because we haven't bought pants yet that fit the new weight loss. But
first off, he used the word "we" as in the royal "we," as in like he actually buys my clothes for me, which is kind of happens sometimes.
Kind of like when the Bulls win, we go, "We won!"
Yeah,
right. I'm cheering for you. I'm excited for you.
Like after the show, Josh is gonna hand me his credit card. I'm gonna head out to the store to buy pants. But last night was fantastic. I think that might have been one of my favorite events that we have done ever. It just felt really cool being there.
We're going to talk about it later, but why don't you talk about it now?
I'm not great at explaining things, so why don't you explain it?
So we talk about last night's event. We're really going out of order here on Java with Josh today. Last night, we invited our clients and a lot of non-clients to come witness and witness. It sounds like they're doing something crazy. It was a movie being held at the Yorktown Theater, and it was called The Psychology of Retirement. I had the privilege of being asked to be an executive producer of this movie, and so FSR Wealth Strategies is an executive producer of The Psychology of Retirement. This is a documentary that was narrated, and a lot of it was done by Morgan Housel, who was the author of The Psychology of Money, which I think is one of the greatest books that we've on finance. And he talks all about the mindset of a retiree and how a mindset should be, and which is you've listened to this enough, you know that we talk about that all the time. And so I think it's an outstanding movie for anyone who's retired or about to be retired. They should really seek out this. In fact, we were going to talk about it later because we wanted to offer it out to, if you're watching Java with Josh and you would like to see The Psychology of Retirement, we do have streaming gift cards. Reach out to us. We'd be happy to get you a streaming gift card. Normally, if you just stream it online, they think they charge $30. We can get it to you as a gift card with no charge. So let us know, reach out to us, and we'd be happy to send you a streaming gift card so you can watch The Psychology of Retirement. And we will have other events if you want to watch it live in person too. We'd love to have you there. So
Hear, hear. I just thought it was cool. We got to put up our banners and our posters, and like I felt like we were running the theater. And
I sent you pictures of it. Do you have them?
You sent me one. I don't have it right now. Maybe I can work on that really quick.
No, it's okay.
But,
Don't worry about it. I'll talk about it. But it's really cool. I walk into the theater, and like, you know how you walk into a theater and like there's movie banners and movie posters? To see our movie banner and our movie poster as you walk into the theater was really a cool experience.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
a sense of pride. Now, the Can we put the compliance slide up? We've been going a long time.
Yeah,
We haven't had this yet. Normally, I tell a fun story before we go, but what we're about to talk about today is strictly informational purposes. It's our opinions, our thought processes, and it's for your information. It is not designed to be specific advice. We're happy to give specific advice, but if that requires one-on-one conversation, so we'll make sure everyone's aware of that.
And let's do our obligatory cheers and a smile.
Cheers. You know,
Go
we
ahead.
said, we got.
Wow, that was awkward. All right, so today's coffee is brought to you by, not brought to you by, we actually paid for it. Again, if you want to sponsor the show, Brewpoint, we'd love to have you sponsor the show, but Brewpoint Coffee right down the street in Elmhurst. This is my first peppermint mocha of the season, made with oat milk, half the pumps of syrup, less sugar. Brian said that's good for my body, less sugar. And it's better than Starbucks, a lot better. And I had my mushroom coffee.
There
so
goes
my
our
guts
Starbucks sponsorship. I always like to start with a cute story, and usually we'll talk about your son Landon or something my kids have been doing. And last weekend was one of my favorite weekends of the year and least favorite weekends of the year, all tied together, and it's all the same activity and event. This is our third time doing this, my daughter and I have been a part of Elmhurst Princesses, which sounds a little odd, but it is a daddy-daughter organization, and every year they do a fall camp out. And this camp out is held at Camp Tecumseh, which if you've a Java with Josh regular, it's the same summer camp my kids went to over the summer. But it's 450 all Elmhurst dads and daughters, kindergarten through 5th grade. And it's awful because you sleep in a cabin with 10 other dads who snore too much and have had too much beer, and it sounds awful.
Do they bathe?
No, there's no bathing whatsoever. But it's awesome because it's a really, really cool bonding experience with my daughter. Do you have a picture of my daughter
Yes.
doing some cool stuff?
Did I do, my friend?
I know I sent those to you too. Every year we get to do some cool things, but Maggie they have a horseback trail that she gets to do, and I get to walk alongside her, and it's about half an hour of just her and I out there talking, whatever we want to talk about, which is pretty neat. And they have archery set up, so she did a few rounds of archery. She did rock climbing. It's really a cool thing that I get to experience. So it's one of my favorite things, and I come back and it takes me like 3 days to catch up on sleep. But,
and 3 days to catch up on text messages because you ignored me the whole weekend. Oh, I didn't have reception, he says.
There is no cell phone reception. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Brian, do you believe that?
Yeah, partially.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
all right.
But yeah, that was that. So
cool.
It was good here.
Awesome.
Dave.
Yeah.
You're the creator of Java with Josh. You want to explain why you created Java with Josh?
Yeah, this is where I feel like I need like the Full House music or like do like a close-up cameo. Java with Josh is our monthly live YouTube video show where you, retirees and those soon to be retire, can listen to Josh talk even more than he's used to talking because he loves talking. But each month we go live, and a few days before we go live, Josh and our advisor team will sit around and they will come up with super timely and relevant financial topics to talk about that affect you, our dear retirees and those soon to retire. And then we chat about it, and I'm here to just annoy everybody and keep him from going on tangents about tax codes and compliance laws and blah, blah, blah.
One of
is that
our,
all right?
Yeah, it is. One of our regular listeners
Yeah.
and attendees, Pradeep, was in the office last week. And he poked his head into our little studio, hoping to get a glimpse of you and see if we were going to be recording. And unfortunately, he was here a week early. Otherwise, we would have maybe have Pradeep join us.
Oh, how about that? That would have been fun.
Also coming up here, I want to make sure everyone's aware, our next show is going to be Wednesday, December 11th. I'm glad you put that up there. We look forward to having that up there. I almost guarantee, and we've made some changes in days, but that one will happen for sure. And then we have them into the new year as well. It's something, hey, we're going to continue this into 2025, it looks like, based on your slide you just put up there.
Yeah, I think May will be a 2-year.
Ooh.
May 2025 will be 2 years, I believe.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, also, radio show.
Yeah. So just ignore the date. I didn't have time to make a new slide. Next episode was definitely not August 17th, but
We've
they
had
understand.
a few episodes since then.
We've
but,
had a few.
Saturday morning, 7 8 a.m. WLS AM 890 on your dial. It's a dial. That's what they say
Dial.
on radio.
Yes,
I
dial.
don't think anyone has a dial
Well,
anymore.
the video shows a dial.
It does.
Mhm.
You have a dial in your car?
My car's got a dial.
Huh. You just got a new car too.
He's
Well, it's,
retro.
it's an older generation,
Yeah, it's true.
I still have a CD player too.
Well, that's impressive.
Yeah, Brian's got a CD player and a dial in his
Mhm.
car.
Mhm.
But I've really enjoyed doing the show. We've actually added stuff to our website.
Yeah.
So if you don't get to see the show live, you can go to our website, FSRwealth.com. There's a radio tab at the top, and you can hear all the old shows and see some other content we've created for it. So
Absolutely.
I encourage everyone to do that.
Absolutely. Let's jump right to this because we're kind of falling behind.
Oh, it's turkey. Giving you the confidence to make retirement the best part of your life. I've had the privilege of talking about this more than a few times in the last few weeks. And this is our absolute favorite thing to do in our office is when we can visually see the impact that our planning can have on someone's retirement and someone's life. And we love the ability, we can't make you do things, but if we can give you the confidence that you have the ability to go out and do it, it really makes all the difference to us. So we like to say our mission statement here at FSR Wealth is to give you the confidence to make retirement the best part of your life.
Here, here. Let's dig in.
Let's dig in. So,
Wait, Josh, is this going to be just to prepare them a slide-heavy presentation?
this is not gonna, I have developed some graphics because you tell me I'm boring.
Yeah.
And so I wanted
Yeah.
to make sure that it wasn't.
Thank you.
I think pictures help.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
just
Just
get
jump
in here.
man.
Let's
Just
go
jump in.
into
I am
this.
so
There's
eager.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Can we switch cameras? This one, I mean, you're just getting my, it's.
Wait, did anything happen this week?
Oh yeah, if we had a busy week at all?
I mean, I don't know. I thought I heard something in the news about something, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's been a lot of news recently, and a lot of news that's going to impact the retirees who are watching this. So I want to make sure we dig into that because that's the purpose of Java with Josh, as you said, Dave. So first off, I want you to see up on the board here, if Dave can ever jump to it. I have the logo that he created earlier this year for our brand, Own Your Retirement. And I tell this story all the time in workshops, but we came up with this concept and this idea about owning your retirement with the idea that retirement is the first time of your life that you have not only the ability to, but the responsibility to take control of your entire financial situation. I grew up in a house where my dad was constantly telling me, never let anybody else take responsibility for your actions or words. Anything you say or do, good or bad, is your responsibility. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And now a lot of times we bury our head in the sand when it comes towards retirement and different concepts like that. And so this ability to be able to own your retirement is really, really important. And now more than ever, with all the stuff going on, and we're going to talk about the election, we're going to talk about the Federal Reserve a little bit, I think this is a great time to remind everybody that it's your responsibility to take this ownership and this control. And what we do here at FSR is we empower you to take that ownership. We teach you how to take that ownership, and we will walk alongside you as you do this, but this is your journey, and we love to see you thrive through it, but it does come down to you taking control and ownership here. So I wanted to show that to start with, and that's where we came up with this whole Own Your Retirement Planning, the Own Your Retirement Planning process, where we actually dig into these 5 key areas. So what we're going to talk about today is actually going to impact quite a few areas. We're going to talk about the election today, and the election, without a doubt, could impact retirement income. We'll talk about some of the things in Social Security and different things that we have in here. Investments, we've already seen it have an impact on your investments. Taxes, boy, we're going to talk about that. It's going to have a major impact on taxes. Healthcare, long-term care, Medicare. Again, there's nuances there that are going to go into it. How is Medicare going to be funded? And lastly, legacy and estate planning. All these things are going to be tied together. And again, there's not one that's more important or one that works without the others. So we want to make sure we're understanding everything as we go into this. Now, Last week, you saw lots and lots of visuals that looked like this. You saw the red versus blue, and they would dig into each state, and is it red, is it blue, is it red, is it blue? I hate this image. I hate it with a passion. Because what this image is saying visually, and I understand why they do it, I think factually it's actually correct. It's not, this is a non-political conversation. I can go both ways politically very easily. But this conversation is really how it impacts you as a retiree in our country. But what this graph visually says, if I look at it, is if I'm here in Illinois, all of Illinois went blue, all of Illinois went Democratic. If I'm here in Indiana or Kentucky or Missouri or Kansas or Texas or Florida, it says to me, hey, all of Florida is red. So the first thing I hate about this graph is the fact that these margins in these states are 0.5%, 1-2% apart, which means that half of Illinois is actually red. Half of Florida is actually blue. Half of Texas is blue. Half of California is red. And so when we look at this, no matter when we finish an election like this, and especially as contentious as this election was, you have a group of our population who's really excited. They're super, super excited about the outcome. And you have a group of our population who's super upset. They think the world's ending as they go through this. And so no matter the outcome, I want us to look at the fact that we're not red versus blue. Red didn't blow everything out of the water. Blue didn't lose in a landslide, but it's going to have an impact on the future. And why I talked about owning your retirement in the beginning is because no matter how you feel about this, you have to be able to take control of it. The other thing I hate about this, and this has nothing to do with finances, is I hate that it's one side versus the other. I hate that it's red versus blue. And when we talk about the fact I'm red or I'm blue, I think what we're really missing is that the vast majority of us actually agree on a lot of things, and how we go about doing them is really what's at stake here. So that's my soapbox I'll get off of right now. But I wanted to make sure that as we talk about what's going forward, I'm not talking about if these are good or bad. I don't want this to be political in any way, but I want you to see what we're thinking about here in regards to how this election is going to impact you as a retiree. So let's go with that. Does that make sense, Dave?
That makes. I'm glad you took a sip. I want to say hear to everything you just said.
My throat's going on that one.
I can tell.
All right. First thing let's talk about is the equity markets. This is a equity market. You can see this is the last 1 month in the S&P 500. I took this data as of this morning, so as of today is Wednesday the 13th. What you're going to see here is for most of the 30 months or 30 days prior, we were pretty flat, not many changes. Right before the election, we saw some volatility and we saw a big drop. And then the day after the election, we saw a big run-up. In fact, it is the largest single-day run-up post-election in history. Now, what does this tell you? Why did this happen? And what can we expect in the future? So why did this happen? First off, it happened because the markets love certainty. I do believe that no matter who won, we were going to get some sort of run-up because we would have had an end to the uncertainty, and markets love certainty. Saying markets love certainty, markets have gotten to experience what a President Trump economy was like. And this isn't a brand new president, so they have some ideas of what they can expect. And what can they expect? They're talking about lower tax rates. And maybe we don't have lower tax rates, but we don't have higher tax rates. That is, for equity markets, that can be a very good thing. So they appreciated that. There could be some deregulation. Deregulation lowers the cost inside of companies for them to do business. That could lead to a very good thing. So for companies, I'm not saying good or bad in regards to the economy and stuff like that. That's not where I'm going here. I'm just really about the equity markets in general. So what we're seeing in the future is there's a lot of positive, there's a lot of tailwind that could be created here with this election. So from an equity standpoint, especially domestic equities. So if you think about the next thing I want to show here, one of the things that he has been pushing really hard are these tariffs. So now I realized this morning I was talking about tariffs, and it's one of those words that I just feel everyone understands what it means and what the impact is. And a tariff is something that President Trump utilized in his first term, and he's talked heavily about doing it again. Now, a tariff means that you're taxing the import of goods. And so, for example, this graphic is something that shows China versus the United States. Importing of goods, the vast majority of goods imported and exported out of the United States goes on shipping containers like this, and it gets shipped across the ocean on giant boats. Now, when a country sends stuff to us, they have to go through a whole process, a customs and immigration process. And depending on who the country is and what they're shipping to us, they may have to pay a tax or a duty on top, to send that good here. So, for example, if China is sending us, technology or whatever it might be, right now it's pretty tax-free. There's not really any tariffs on it, so that keeps the cost of the goods low. President Trump has said, hey, we want to bring more of our production onshore. We want to bring more of it locally. So we want to hit those countries with a tariff, a tax, to bring that onshore here. Now, so what does that mean? Well, that means that if China sends that same good over here, they're going to pay a higher tax just for sending that good over here. Now, what's the end result of that? The end result is not really that that just hurts China. It does in the long run, but the end result is that company that had to pay that tax is passing the cost of that tax on to the end consumer, which is us. And so you're going to see rising cost if you see these tariffs go into place. In the long run, I'm not saying that they may not do the right thing, but that will cause rising cost here. It could also cost lower production over there, which that has the inflation issues that we've been dealing with. Inflation, remember, is the rising of costs. Now, what we're uncertain of, in his campaign, President Trump was very much talked about tariffs. In his last presidency, he used them more as a negotiation tactic than as an actual policy. So we'll see what he does here, but that's something where we're watching heavily in regards to this new presidency and House and Senate.
Josh, take a sip. You needed one. You held your cup up, but you never brought it to your mouth.
God, thank you for taking care of me.
I got you,
and
man.
watching out for my back.
Plus, people are, you're talking a lot, so they need a little break.
Am I talking too much?
No, you're talking like normal, which is too much.
So this next one that we want to get into, and this is probably one of the biggest things, especially for retirees who are watching this. I missed something. I apparently was taking a drink and turned around, and both of you are laughing.
Yeah, I made fun of you.
So that's good. We've been talking heavily about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act from 2017. In his first presidency, one of the biggest things that President Trump did was he put a big tax law change in. And he lowered a lot of tax rates for a vast majority of Americans. He simplified the tax return in regards to making the standard deduction higher. And they were set to expire in 2020, after 2025. So if you look here, this was done earlier. This was our prior law, so you can see the brackets were 10, 15, 25, 28, 33, 35, and 39.6. Now, this is the 2024 rates, and they've been pretty much this way since 2018. We had the 10 stayed the same, but everything else pretty much went down here. So we had lower rates. What does that mean? That means when you take money out of IRAs, out of 401ks, you don't pay as much tax. Now, a lot of the tax planning that people have been working on was, hey, we knew these rates were expiring at the end of 2025, so they were trying to accelerate their Roth conversions as much as they could. Well, now I think we're going to have more time. I think we're going to have a few more years before we have to see rates go up. Now, this could have a negative impact on the economy because we might see a bigger deficit, we might see more debt come to play on this. The Congressional Budget Office is already predicting that if we do this, we're going to see a higher deficit come into play. But we'll see what occurs there. Other tax things we're watching, he's talking about changing the corporate rate. Again, if we change the corporate rate, that leads to higher corporate earnings, which leads to better stock performance, but it could also lead to a bigger deficit. It could bring more jobs in. There's all sorts of pros and cons into the ways that we're talking about this. One of the biggest things, if you're here in Illinois watching this, or another state that has high property and sales taxes, one of the biggest things in the tax return now is the $10,000 limit on deductions for property taxes. We'll see what happens to that. That's a big negotiation. They call it the SALT limitation. So there's a lot of things that are coming. I do expect, from a tax perspective, the next 12 months to be very, very interesting. And for us tax dorks, it's going to be fascinating. You can bet that you're going to hear a lot of us talking about this, on Java with Josh for the next 12 months, because get excited, Dave.
Well, I'm pumped because now we got Mike here to talk about taxes, and like I can tell he is just chomping at the bit to read all the updates.
So it'll be fun to see how this plays out inside of over the next year or so. But do expect some tax changes coming. But it'll be fun. Get excited.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm sure Alex is excited.
Yeah, Alex has no idea.
Yeah.
It's hashtag tax nerd. The other big news last week, interest rates. We've been talking about this for a while. This is the Federal Reserve interest rates. The Fed is our central banking system. And this graph starts in 2012. So it's January of 2012. It's a 12-year graph here. And what you're going to see is the first part of the decade was pretty flat. We had zero interest rates, pretty much 0% interest rate. And they started hiking interest rates slowly here. Then we had the pandemic, and they dropped them back to zero pretty quickly. And back when inflation was going out of control, this is the quickest interest rate rise in history. We've just completed a period of flat rates, meaning the pausing of interest rate rises. And we've just had our second month in a row of interest rate decreases. So in October, the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates by 50 basis points, which is 0.5%. And then the day after the election, or 2 days after the election, they lowered it by 25 basis points, or 0.25%. Now, for some people, they consider that to be a good thing. For some people, it wasn't high enough. The Federal Reserve before was indicating they might do another 50 basis point drop. We're going to watch December quite closely. The Federal Reserve is looking at a lot of data, a lot of things that are coming in, and we'll see what they do coming in here. But this has an impact. This interest rate change has an impact on all sorts of things. It will impact CD rates. It's going to impact mortgage rates. It's going to impact long-term bond and investment rates. So I want you to be aware that these changes are going to have both good and bad impacts for retirees as they go, as they happen more in the future. So inflation seems to have leveled out a little bit. So I talked about the equities skyrocketed after the election. The 10-year bond actually went up after the election by quite a bit too. So that's not always a good thing when you see that big spiking, because that means there's some uncertainty in the inflation world there. So we just got to make sure we're constantly watching what the Federal Reserve does for ongoing interest rate changes. Now, the last thing I want to close it out with is the Own Your Retirement Planning process again. I want to do a quick recap of what we're looking at here. Income, we didn't talk about Social Security, but President Trump has talked about getting rid of taxes on Social Security. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. By doing that, you're going to have to shorten, you're going to quicken and hasten the depletion of the Social Security Trust Fund. I see the only way that they change taxation on Social Security is if they also reform Social Security so that we don't have to worry about the trust fund running out of money. We talked about investments and what the impact has had on the equity market. We've talked about taxes, the impact of taxes, healthcare costs. They've already revised the IRMA charges. We'll see how we pay for Medicare going forward. I think that's going to have a big impact. And then legacy and estate planning. We've been talking about the estate tax thresholds being lowered in 2026. In addition to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act being extended, we're fully anticipating that the estate taxes stays much higher for another 10 years as well. So All of that is going to have a big impact for retirees as we move, as we see what happens in the next year after the election. So if you like the election, if you didn't like the outcome of the election, doesn't, not to say it doesn't matter, it does matter, but either way, we have to move through it, and you're going to live through it. So you want to make sure you're taking advantage of what came of the election. So that's how we're going to interpret it. That's how we're going to keep watching it. But I look forward to talking to people more. If you have questions about how it's going to impact you, we'd be happy to talk about it.
You'd be more than happy to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, apparently I love talking today.
You do, yeah. Jeez Louise. All right, so if you are watching and you'd like to ask a question or make a comment, go ahead and pop that into YouTube right now. I have a challenge here, all right? We have a whole bunch of people watching live. Only 2 individuals have hit that like button on the video, and so this is my little spiel to you. Let's get that number up to 10. I'm gonna act like an auctioneer. We got 2 likes here. We got 3. Can we get 3, 4 likes? 4 likes over here. 5 likes over here. Okay, that was obnoxious, but can we get 10 likes in this video? Because I'm telling you, I look at the data, and the more the people hit that like button, the more that Google shows our videos to people who have never heard of us, and that is a good thing because Josh loves hearing himself talk, and he thinks other people love hearing him talk too. So, yeah. Up to 3. See.
I thought it was a challenge for me, which is scary. But one of the scary hearing me talk at the beginning of the movie last night, The Psychology of Retirement. As the executive producer, they let me do a little intro.
5 more. We need 5 more.
Which is really cool.
Yep.
And I saw the intro that they recorded, but I'd never seen it on the big screen.
Yeah.
And I was standing there, and I got to see myself in like
all your
King Kong size.
In
like,
all your glory.
It was scary.
Well, we got 10 likes.
Thank you, people.
That's awesome. So I'd like to summarize 12 likes. I'd like to summarize today's episode. And I usually just kind of read something. Actually, I wrote a haiku for today. Because I
don't doubt it 1 minute.
Yeah, no, because y'all know I love haikus. Now it's not my finest haiku. I had to write it in about 15 seconds here, but it red versus blue is bad. We should just talk and think with logic. I love my coffee. So again, that last line is supposed to be 5 syllables. I couldn't think of anything because I had to switch to me talking here, so there's my haiku. But no, in all honesty, though, summary, half the country is upset, half the country is happy. Doesn't really matter. Get over it, and let's think with logic. And that's, yeah, right?
I feel like I was passionate and caring, and I felt a little bit mean.
Yeah.
You kind of just brushed over it.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, because I'm kind of just over it. Like, and really just get over it. When it comes to your money, yeah. 14 likes, by the way. You guys are the best. I appreciate that.
Well, I hope everyone can join us next month on December 11th for the December Job with Josh. Hopefully we get some more exciting tax updates as we get into the end of the year here. There is still time before the end of the year to do some year-end tax planning. It's not too late, so don't let the end of the year get away from you without taking advantage of what you have to take advantage of this year.
Enjoy your time with your families. Enjoy that Thanksgiving dinner. Josh and I will. He actually might invite me over to his house for Thanksgiving this year.
I'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'm hosting this year, so no. But on that note, yeah, we'll see y'all on December 13th, right?
Gobble, gobble.
Cheers. Bye, y'all.